Hello students, my name is Rajni Verma and this is my first video lesson on Physics class 9. Physics is that branch of science which deals with matter, energy, force and also how they interact with each other. The goal of studying physics is to understand the natural phenomena and the universe. Being an experienced teacher, I know that students find physics a difficult subject. Either the concept is not clear or they face difficulty in numerical problems. In my video lessons, I will try to focus on these two aspects. Physics is not a separate subject in class 9, but the detailed study starts from class 9 itself. The first lesson of physics in class 9 is motion. You will find thorough explanation in my videos like classroom teachings. So don't get impatient and stay with me. But before beginning the lesson, let us discuss a few terms which are commonly used. The terms are an object, physical quantity, magnitude, SI unit, scientific notation, reference point, scalar quantity, vector quantity, distance traveled and displacement, and also an instant of time. An object or a body denotes a piece of matter, either a living thing or non-living thing, on which the effect of force and energy is studied. In this chapter, we shall study the motion of an object. In physics, we are not interested what happens inside the body of a living thing. All living things or non-living things together, they are referred to as objects. Physical quantity. Any quantity which can be measured accurately is called a physical quantity, while an emotion or an expression are not. For example, length, mass, etc. are physical quantities, but anger, love, fear are not physical quantities. Let us take an example. When we say rain, rainfall cannot be measured directly. It is measured as, say, 2 cm of rainfall, etc. Similarly, fever is not measured. What we measure is the body temperature. So temperature is a physical quantity, but fever is a state of body where the body temperature rises above the normal temperature. Magnitude. The magnitude of a quantity tells us how small or how large a quantity is. It is expressed in two words, a number and a unit of measurement. For example, 10 kilogram, 20 kilometers, 30 degrees Celsius, etc. SI unit. SI unit is the international system of units accepted all over the world for all scientific purposes. The SI unit for length is meter, for mass it is kilogram, and for time it is second, although we use smaller or larger units for convenience as and when required. Now, the next term is scientific notation. Scientific notation is a way to write very large or very small numbers conveniently in a short form. For example, speed of light is written as 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Similarly, a number such as 6,93,500 is written in scientific notation as 6.935 into 10 to the power 5. A very small number, say 0.00036, is written as 3.6 into 10 to the power minus 4. We will discuss it again when we come to the solving of the numerical problems. Next we have reference point. A reference point is a fixed point from where all distances are measured or all observations are made. For example, while plotting a graph, the point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis called origin is taken as the reference point. When you open Google Maps from your mobile phone, your location is shown like you are here with a blue spot, and you find your way or read the map starting from that point. In this case, your location is the reference point. By the way, students, when you find the distance between two cities, from where do you start the measurement? Where would you find the zero of a national highway? The distance between two cities is generally measured from the head post office of the town. A quantity which is described completely by its magnitude only and direction is not required is called a scalar quantity. For example, the distance between two fixed points at A and B. This distance AB is a scalar quantity because the length will remain the same whether we start measurement from A to B or from B to A. Therefore, such a quantity is called a scalar quantity. Similarly, a mass of 10 kg will remain the same everywhere in whatever direction it is shifted or whatever be the orientation of the object. Next we have the vector quantity. Now this is a new concept for us. There are some physical quantities which can be described completely only when a direction is specified along with the magnitude. Such a quantity is called a vector quantity. For example, we can talk about force. You know that a force is a push or a pull, and you know quite well that push and pull have two opposite directions. So such a quantity which requires a direction to describe it along with the magnitude is called a vector quantity. We will come across other quantities, other vector quantities as well as we proceed our study. As you know, the distance between two fixed points is the length of the line segment joining the points. Now consider 2 points A and B. 2 points A and B at some distance apart. Suppose a man at A has to reach point B. He may take any path, say path 1, path path 2, or he may shift from A to B through a direct path. In all three cases, the length of the paths are different, but the shift in the position of the man is the same, that is from A to B. This shift in position is called the displacement, while the length of the paths will be the distance travelled. Let us take another example. Let us consider another example. A person travelling along the circumference of a circular path. If he comes back to his original position, say at point P, the distance covered by him will be the length of the circumference, that is equal to 2 pi r. But the displacement, the shift in his position is 0 because he has come back to his original position. Now suppose he stops at some point Q, then the displacement will be across this distance from P to Q. The original position is P and the final position is Q. This PQ may be diameter or may not be, but the displacement is equal to PQ, while the distance travelled is the length of this circular or semicircular path. We see that in all cases the displacement is either equal to or smaller than the distance travelled. So by displacement we mean the shift in position. This is a vector quantity. Let us see why it is called a vector quantity. Suppose again there are say 2 points, say P and Q. Let us take another point, say R, at the same distance. Say this is 5 meter, this also is 5 meter. Now suppose a man standing at Q decides to travel a distance of 5 meter. So after some time, when he finishes his journey, where will you find him? At point P or at point R? You can't say unless you are told in which direction he started his journey. So the displacement from Q to P is not equal to the displacement Q to R, because P and R are in two different or opposite directions. Although the distance travelled is same in both cases, 5 meter. Therefore, displacement or the shift in position is a vector quantity. So displacement is a vector quantity and its SI unit is also meter, as is the unit of length or the distance travelled. Now let us see what is the difference between the distance and displacement. Distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is a vector quantity. Distance travelled cannot be 0 while displacement can be 0, and displacement is always either smaller than or equal to the distance travelled, but it can never be greater than the distance travelled or the length of the path. Next we have an instant of time. Time is a general term, while time taken is the duration or time interval for an event to take place. An instant of time is an extremely small time interval. It cannot be measured. It just happens. In geometry, we have a point which cannot be measured, but a line segment is made of an infinite number of points and it can be measured. Just like the point. We know that a point has no length or breadth and it cannot be measured. But if we have a line or a line segment, there are an infinite number of points situated on the line segment, and this line segment consists of all these points, and this line segment can be measured although the individual points cannot be measured. Similarly, an instant of time is very small, it cannot be measured, but time intervals are aggregation of instants of time. Okay students, now let us start discussing motion. A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with time. An object may be at rest or in motion. Motion is relative and in fact nothing is at rest. An object at rest is actually moving with movement of earth. A person sitting in a moving bus appears to be at rest for another person sitting next to him, but both of them are moving for a person standing at roadside, and that person appears to move in the opposite direction for the men sitting in the bus. There are different types of motion in nature like linear motion, rotation, vibration, etc. And generally, a motion of an object is a combination of various motions. In this chapter, we shall discuss only linear motion, that is motion along a straight line. When an object moves, how fast or how slowly it moves is measured by its speed. The rate of change of position with time is called speed, and speed is defined as the distance travelled per unit time, and the formula to calculate it is distance travelled divided by time taken. Since distance is a scalar quantity, time is also a scalar quantity. This speed is also a scalar quantity. Speed is a scalar quantity. And the formula for speed is written as V is equal to S upon T. Its SI unit is meter per second or meter second inverse. One thing here to be kept in mind is that in your previous classes you used to denote speed by S. You used to write S is equal to d upon t, but not now. Now we shall write V is equal to S upon t. So S represents distance travelled while V represents speed of the object. So speed is a physical quantity which is defined as the distance travelled per unit time. It is a scalar quantity and its SI unit is meter per second. In case of speed, we do not mention the direction. In which direction the body is moving is not relevant here. But when we specify the direction of the movement, we have another physical quantity which is known as velocity. So speed with direction is called velocity. Velocity is defined as displacement per unit time. Displacement per unit time. It is a vector quantity. The symbols are the same. V is equal to S upon T and the SI unit is also same, meter per second or meter second inverse. Uniform and non-uniform motion. The motion of an object may be uniform or non-uniform. During its journey, the object may travel with various speeds or even remain at rest for some time before continuing its journey. Such a motion is called non-uniform motion. But when an object covers equal distances in equal time intervals, its motion is called uniform motion and the speed is called uniform speed. On the other hand, if an object covers unequal distances in equal time intervals, its motion is non-uniform and its speed is also non-uniform. In such a case, we calculate its average speed as average speed is equal to total distance travelled, total distance travelled divided by total time taken, and the unit remains the same, meter per second. The non-uniform motion is also called accelerated motion and the rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. Acceleration is equal to change in velocity per unit time. It is a vector quantity and its SI unit is meter per second square. Acceleration is denoted by the symbol A. A is equal to V minus U divided by T, or say final velocity minus initial velocity divided by the time taken to change the velocity from u to v. Its SI unit is meter per second square or meter second raised to the power minus 2. But this acceleration can be calculated only when the velocity changes at a uniform rate. And when the velocity changes from u to v at a uniform rate, the average velocity can be calculated like this. The average velocity over time t is equal to v plus u divided by 2. So we have three formulae here. Average speed is equal to total distance by total time. Acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity by time taken, and average velocity is equal to v plus u by 2. So acceleration is the rate of change of velocity with time. It is a vector quantity and its SI unit is meter per second square, also written as meter second raised to the power minus 2. So today in this video lesson we learnt about motion, about some common terms, uniform and non-uniform motion, and we also learned three formulas: the formula for speed and average speed, the formula for velocity and average velocity, and the formula for acceleration. There are two types of important questions from here: the definitions and the differences between. The difference between displacement and distance travelled, and the difference between a scalar and a vector quantity. In case of a non-uniform motion, the velocity changes, but it can change in two ways, either uniformly or non-uniformly. When the velocity increases or decreases by equal amounts in equal time intervals, the acceleration is called uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration. That is, the rate of change of velocity is uniform. When the velocity increases or decreases by unequal amounts in equal intervals of time, then it is known as non-uniform acceleration. In class 9, you do not have to study about non-uniform acceleration. We shall study only about uniform acceleration. Now, since acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, and we know that velocity may change in two ways, because velocity consists of two things: magnitude and direction. So the velocity may change either by change in magnitude or it can change by change in direction, or it may change by change in both magnitude and direction. When the change in magnitude only, the acceleration is called linear acceleration. It is called linear acceleration. When the change is in direction, it is called centripetal acceleration. When there is a change in both magnitude and direction, it becomes of a complex nature, and we are not going to discuss these things. We have to study only about linear acceleration, mainly about linear acceleration. Centripetal acceleration is also not discussed here. And keep in mind that we are talking about a linear motion where the body or the object is moving along a straight line without any change in direction. So for all practical purposes, the speed and velocity have the same magnitude here. Since velocity is nothing but speed with direction and there is no change in direction, we can say that velocity is the same as speed here, or the magnitude is same. So for calculations we can take velocity and speed as same unless it is clearly mentioned about the change in direction. So students, in today's video lesson we studied about motion and we also discussed various physical quantities to describe motion completely. We learned that motion can be of two types, uniform motion or non-uniform motion, which is also known as accelerated motion. This accelerated motion can be of two types where the acceleration may be uniform or non-uniform. The uniform acceleration can be divided into two parts, that is linear acceleration and centripetal acceleration. When the velocity of an object changes at uniform rate in magnitude only, the acceleration is called linear acceleration. This may also be divided in two types, positive and negative. When the velocity or the magnitude of the velocity increases continuously, the linear acceleration is positive acceleration. Otherwise, it is negative acceleration. This negative acceleration is also known as retardation or deceleration. When the magnitude of the velocity remains constant but the direction of the velocity changes, the acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. Non-uniform acceleration is that acceleration in which the velocity does not change uniformly, but this is beyond the scope of the syllabus. Well students, that's it for today. In my next video lesson, we shall discuss graphical representation of motion. We shall also learn to plot and interpret distance time and velocity time graphs. And I will explain all question answers and numerical problems at the end of the lesson. I hope you like this video. If you find this video useful for your studies, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.